This is ABS, our nation's station.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us here in the studios of ABS TV Radio for this very special presentation. It's a live press conference convened by the Ministry of Health, Wellness, Social Transformation and the Environment. My name is Ursula Charles Jr., and joining us in studio this morning is the Honourable Minister responsible for the portfolios we mentioned. Is the Honourable Sir Molwyn Joseph, here to address us as media and, of course, the nation on several matters germane to his ministry. Primary would be the death now ongoing 4 weeks since the passing of a young woman said to be an outpatient at the Clarevue mental health facility. The minister is here to update us on those investigations, developments on that matter, as well as other matters within the Ministry of Health, Wellness, Social Transformation and the Environment. Joining us online as well, two of my media colleagues. First, we've got LaDeefa Phoenix, who represents Free Press 268, and we've got Gemma Handy from Newsco Observer Limited joining us. They will ask their questions as well of the Honourable Minister. Minister Sir Molwyn Joseph, good morning, sir. Thank you so much for being in studios with us this morning. As we said, the matter captivating national attention. I know you'd want to be here this morning addressing it from both a personal and a professional perspective. I know you are close to the family as well. Let's just have your thoughts on the matter and bring us up to speed as to how those investigations are going at this time.
Well, thank you very much, Ursula. This is a matter of great concern to me. The fact is that as the Minister of Health, I have a responsibility to build a confidence in the community that the government will act appropriately under these circumstances. And that's why I'm here. Having been told of certain utterances that took place in the public space, I thought I could contribute to some clarity and to remove any misunderstanding of the role of the government, the ministry, in a matter of this nature. This is what is defined in law as a natural death as it pertains to Lateefa. Now, let me make it very clear that this young lady and the family live in Jennings. I was born and I still live in Jennings, so I know the family very well. I am deeply hurt and to hear some of the statements being made in the public about some allegations of cover-up, and I want to just address that. Let it be known and understood that this matter, in terms of investigation, has nothing to do with government. It has to do with what in our laws is the coroner's inquest. I refer every member of Listen to Me and in society to get hold of the act called the Coroner's Act, passed in 1950 and had revisions through 1956, 81, and 1989. Lateefa George is someone that is well known to me, no stranger at all. And the suggestion that I would be involved in any cover-up is deeply offensive. And I want to blow that out of the water right now. It's deeply offensive, and the individuals who are peddling this false information needs to stop and be accountable. Let me share what we have here. And let me say to be open, that I express to the family deep condolences. It hurts. And as a matter of fact, let me be very personal. When I heard about this, it was, I was overseas on government business. As a matter of fact, I was in Abu Dhabi. And when I returned to Antigua, I drove straight to the home of the mother and the father. But what do we have? We have in law death defined as unnatural death. And it includes case of death of any person which occurs in a sudden, violent, or unnatural manner. This was a sudden death, and therefore it qualified as a death to be handled under this act by the coroner. And that was done. Anyone who wants to get deeply into the laws of Antigua and Barbuda, get hold of Cap 105 in the laws of Antigua and Barbuda and be guided. What are the duties of a coroner? And by the way, it says coroner, not the government. So at this particular point, as minister, I have absolutely no authority in law or otherwise to become involved in this matter. None. The government itself doesn't have any authority. What has happened in this matter, the matter is now in the judiciary, not the administration. I would be irresponsible to immerse myself in this matter at this time. So it says in section 5, every person who becomes aware of an unnatural death shall forthwith give notice thereof to the nearest coroner or the nearest police station or to the medical officer of the district in which such death occurs. That was done. And so when that was done, it triggered the authority of the coroner to take this matter over. It's ironic that some of the people who are peddling this would suggest that I'm not doing enough. But why would you have a system in a government where the minister who is responsible for the institution would be involved in the investigation? It doesn't seem to be that would be an appropriate thing, because the coroner could even call the minister to assist if he deems it appropriate. Now, in section 9, it says, a coroner having received a report of the district medical officer as to the cause of death of any deceased person may issue his warrant for burial of the deceased or shall hold an inquest as to the cause and circumstances of death in either of the following cases, that is to say, and it goes on. Now, what has triggered is there is an inquest at this time. So I have no opportunity, desire no opportunity to be involved. It is not in the interest of anyone at this time who, without the authority of the coroner, to become involved. Provisions for post-mortem and special examinations. Notwithstanding the provisions of Section 7 and Section 15, the coroner may, at any time, after he has decided to hold an inquest, request any registered medical practitioner to make post-mortem examination of the body of the deceased. And it goes on. So you can see the steps that are taken exclude everyone else except the authority of the coroner and those whom he thinks can make a contribution to his inquest, and to his investigation. On 18 in the law, it says, whereby this act a coroner is required to hold an inquest, he shall, subject to the provisions of Section 12, issue his warrant directed to the senior officer of police and other police officers of the district where the body lies, requiring him or them to summon 5 good and lawful men to appear before him at a specified time and place, there to inquire as jurors touching the death of such person as aforesaid. So there's going to be jury hearing on this matter. This is like a whole judicial exercise, and it ought to be. You should not expect the ministry to investigate, which essentially would be investigating itself. So we have the proper process going at this time. And in Section 20 it says, so soon as the coroner and jurors at any inquest have assembled, the coroner shall call upon one to serve as a foreman, and they shall be sworn by or before him diligently to inquire touching the death of the person on whose body the inquest is about to be held, and a true verdict to give according to the evidence. So this is a judicial matter. And to suggest that the minister has appeared to want to cover up and not doing enough is absolutely absurd. I'm using these strong terms because that's what it is. And we, freedom is to speak and freedom to express is a wonderful thing in our democracy. But we should be responsible. And it says inquest to be judicial inquiry. That sums it up. This is a matter for the judiciary at this time. And I have absolute confidence that there will be no cover-up. The magistrate will go through these processes, and I do not see how in this particular instance that anyone could, without evidence, be making any suggestion that this matter is being covered up. And this is the clarity I wish to bring to the public. And I do not know that this matter needs to be subjected to speculation and unfounded public comments at this time. It does no good for the family. Give the family a chance to grieve and to deal. And by the way, this is a very, very, very God-fearing family. Very God-fearing. Know the father very well, know the mother very well. And it's unfortunate that in our political environment, people appear to want to exploit circumstances for whatever agenda that they're pursuing. And that's basically what I wish to do this morning. And if there are any other questions, I'll be happy to answer.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Minister. I think you were very, very clear. Let's check in with our media colleagues online, though, to see if there are questions germane to this matter. Let's start with Gemma Handy, who I'm now seeing on screen. Gemma, could you just unmute yourself? Gemma is from News Co Observer, and ask your questions on this matter to the Minister, if you would, please.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can, Gemma. Thanks so much.
Okay, can you tell me whether the autopsy has been completed yet or when it's likely to be? I didn't gather that bit.
You see, these are the questions that I was hoped would be clarified in my statement. I cannot tell when the autopsy is to be done, how it's likely to be done. This is totally in the management of the magistrate, who is the coroner at this time. I'm not involved. I'm not in the least involved in this process.
No, I know. I understood that bit, yeah. I've seen a copy of a report of the incident submitted to the ministry last week. It contains some very damning indictments. It calls Clarevue dysfunctional. It speaks of an unpleasant and demoralising environment to work in. It also talks of years of neglect by the government and a tendency to maintain staff that its medical superintendent believes are unsuitable to work there. It's important to note it's not the first time we're hearing these issues. What's being done to address them?
Well, it's more than that. You received a report some time ago. I received a report yesterday. And that is to tell you some of the things that's happening. Why is it that a member of the public should receive a report before the permanent secretary and the minister? That tells something. I have not even had an opportunity. Just yesterday, before I left the office, the report was sent to me. I have not even had an opportunity to read the report. But suffice it to say that the very people who are reading this report might have to answer some questions from the coroner's office. These issues that about the operation of the institution is not the relevant issue for the coroner at this time. The coroner wants to know the circumstances of what transpired there. And so these individuals who are producing report might very well want to speak to the coroner.
Just to clarify, I received the report last night and I read it through in its entirety before coming to the press conference this morning, just so that I was prepared. Another thing that it mentions is that key emergency equipment was missing.
Let me make this point. You received it last evening. That about the same time I received it. How you, as the public, could get a report from an institution on this matter. The protocol is that the report that was requested by the permanent secretary should be sent to the permanent secretary. How did you end up with this report? I only leave it as a question, but it's an important question. But you may continue to ask questions.
Thank you. The report also mentions that there was key emergency equipment missing from the female ward where Lateefa was staying. One of them was there was no regulator for the oxygen tank, meaning no oxygen could be given to her when they're trying to resuscitate her. Is that a matter of concern?
What is of concern to me is that you have received a report that was issued to my PS last evening, and she has not an opportunity to verify the veracity of what is written. And it would be very unwise and inappropriate for me to react to a report that I've not even read, not yet read, and to give some qualification. I would not do that. And it's not something that I've been given the opportunity to look at and prepare any response.
It also speaks of a very concerning issue that occurred some hours before Lateefa's death. It claimed she was picked up roughly by a student nurse and 2 ward assistants. It alleges she was picked up by her arms without her head being stabilised, and they report hearing a crick to her neck. She was dead some time later. Obviously, the incident is under investigation. Do you happen to know if these allegations are being considered?
If these allegations are being considered? Mm-hmm. I really believe that that's the jurisdiction of the coroner. These are the things that the coroner will dig into, the circumstances of death. That's why the coroner would appoint a jury. So let us not be premature. Let us allow the process to go through, and I'm sure at the end of the day all those questions will be answered. To ask me those questions today is really not going to yield any, what I would say, any factual response. There has to be, the coroner has to investigate.
Aside from the report, but in the same vein, I also have a copy of a petition that was dated June 2023, signed by 113 Clarevue staff, apparently. It cites a litany of security and safety issues. Some of them include unauthorised entry into the compound, no defensive equipment for staff to protect themselves in an emergency, a lack of training for staff to help them deal with a patient in mental distress, poor lighting and structural deficiencies to buildings themselves. And again, none of these are new issues, but staff claim nothing has been done to address them and that they've been left in the dark regarding whether or not they're even being looked into. Can we get some clarification on that?
Well, there's nothing for me to clarify. You receive a report, the accuracy of the report must be verified. I don't think you read it as you read the Bible. Is someone reporting, and what is the motive of the person reporting? Is the motive of the person reporting to really reflect the facts? I do not approach serious matters of this kind in this manner. Someone writes a report, then there has to be a verification of the veracity of the report. You have an entire institution involved. There might be people in the institutions who have a different perspective, so we have to dig in deeply into that. But I think all this is to sort of divert from the issue at hand, and that is the death of a young woman, and now the issues in the hands of the coroner. That is the focus now. And I'm anxious to see the work of the coroner being done, and the family is there's accountability to the family.
Yes, I understand. With the greatest respect, I think that this petition goes to the core of some of these issues, though. It was sent on the 12th of June 2023, it was sent to the Prime Minister and a list of other people, yourself being one of them, and the staff gave 4 weeks for these security and safety concerns to be resolved. Have any of them been addressed yet?
Well, as I said, you have the report. The matter has not even been considered. I don't know why you continue to ask the question. I've already told you that the matter of the report was delivered last evening to the permanent secretary, who shared a copy with me. And I'm sure you, as a journalist, you've devoted your time to look at the report and throw these things in the public. It's not fair to the administration. The administration should be given a chance.
Sorry to interrupt you. This isn't the report I'm talking about. This is a petition signed by Clarevue staff 5 months ago and submitted to the government. This is completely separate from the report. My point is that these issues at Clarevue go to the very core of some of the things I would imagine are under investigation now.
Point is, as the minister, I don't recall seeing any petition. And I would have to look into it if there was a petition. That is something that I could do easily. I have absolutely no issue with looking at the petition. And I promise you that I could have an answer for you within a relatively short time. I will look at that particular situation and get back to you. But
that would be good.
These petitions are usually routed to the permanent secretary, and as the most senior civil servant and the supervisor of the ministry would really handle those matters. But I'd be happy to provide some answers to you.
That would be good, because as you know, these issues, regardless of this petition, regardless of this very tragic incident, these issues at Clarevue have been going on for a really long time. What do you want to say to staff there who have been complaining bitterly about some of these issues for several years?
Well, you cannot ask me what do I say to them before I'm able to determine the veracity of the report. You have the luxury of believing everything you read, but as a responsible person, you have to investigate whether or not the report you're reading is indeed accurate.
Yes, and these issues still persist. These are not new issues. These are very, very long-running issues. All I'm asking is what's being done to address them.
As I said, I'll have to discuss this internally and get back to you as to whether or not what you're reading is accurate.
Okay. One more final question. I've also seen a document alleging sexually inappropriate contact between a ward assistant and a young female patient. What's the status of that investigation? I'm led to believe there's also a probe into that as well.
Well, that is a very shocking thing you're alleging, you're reading. That is shocking and alarming. Because I have not been advised of any such thing in the institution. I take that allegation, I'm going to say it's an allegation, because you cannot assume these things are factual. But as you raise them in public, I'll respond to you in public. I will get to the senior staff and do my own internal investigation with some support of responsible people who have the skills to thoroughly investigate these matters.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Next, Nikki, I believe, is with Free Press 268. Nikki, if you are still there, please unmute and ask your question to the Minister for us, please.
Good morning, Sir Molwyn Joseph, Nikki Phoenix here of Phoenix Free Press. I want to say thank you for the opportunity for us having this press conference. In your opening statement, you mentioned that individuals are stating that you are covering up or attempting to cover up something. Where exactly did you see that? Or is there a particular statement or an individual who specifically said that you are covering up this particular Lateefa George unexplained death?
To me, that such statement was made in the media.
I asked you there for a second. Could you repeat that, please?
It was reported to me that a statement of that kind was being made in the media, or suggested that we are seeking to cover up what transpired at the Clarevue Hospital as far as Lateefa is concerned.
So my first question before responding to that would be, why has it taken so long for the media to have this press conference, or to have you yourself as the Minister of Health come and do a press conference and give an answer to something that is so unexplained, sudden, and truly heartbreaking?
I thought that my initial intervention would have satisfied that question. This is a matter for the coroner, and this is a matter that the law says that the ministry is not responsible for. We are responsible to manage, to show that we have good management at the hospital. But when you have these matters, it triggers the coroner's authority to take over these serious matters like death, which is in this case a sudden death.
I can understand that and respect your response on that, sir, but the cabinet notes on November 8th stated that you did visit the family and an investigation is happening and the media would be updated. And at November 25th, which was on Saturday, when I did a live on my independent platform with the fiance of Lateefa George, there was no response, no answer, or no update, sir.
No response to what?
In the sense of a follow-up from the last cabinet notes of November 8th, because there was another cabinet notes which was November 22nd, and there was no mention of it. And Honorable Melford Nicholas said that he did not have an update, and you had not provided, I guess, an update because you were off island. I'm not too sure. You can provide some clarity on that for us, please, sir.
Clarity I would provide. I do not know why you would expect an update from me when the matter is in the hands of the coroner. The coroner is the one that is involved in the investigation of this matter. Should I come and say, update you and say, well, the coroner is still handling the matter? I could not update you with any factual information because that is not my jurisdiction. If the coroner, for instance, deems it appropriate to speak up on this matter, the coroner can exercise such authority. But in a matter where I have absolutely no authority, my duty is really to see what I can do to the family, which I have been doing, to keep their spirits up and grieve with them. That is what I see my duty at this time.
I can respect that, sir, and I thank you very much for doing that, because the family definitely needs that. But if we put aside the aspect of the coroner, what with regards to Clarevue itself, how the entire situation happened? There was no statement from Clarevue. There's still no statement from Clarevue, and there are many complaints, numerous complaints on this issue with Clarevue. Now we have a young woman dead. Isn't it alarming to have this particular issue at the top of the agenda? And when you speak of who to report to, as the Minister of Health, you report to the cabinet. So I think that the responsibility would be upon yourself to provide a follow-up to the cabinet. I'm not sure you can clarify again, sir, but I would understand that your responsibility on the particulars of the situation, understanding the gravity of it, sir.
I'm a bit puzzled that you appear not to understand that this is an unfortunate incident which occurred in a government institution. And under our laws, the magistrate in the district where this occurred has the judicial responsibility to manage the case, including investigations and so forth. The other matters in terms of the management of the institution is being handled by the permanent secretary and all the senior officers who are accounted to me. Perhaps you can help me by indicating how you think that I should be communicating to the public at this time. Should I be communicating to the public on the matter of Lateefa? Or what should I be indicating? What would you wish to see?
I'm so happy that you'd ask a question like that, because it's providing a platform for an open dialogue, which I think is very important. And I think what we would like to see is first seeing that the government is serious about creating a space at the Clarevue that is conducive and healthy and safe for everyone to be there, Mr. Minister. There are reports that Lateefa was complaining about the smell of urine and feces in the room that she was in. She didn't want to be there. There are complaints of other patients who the facilities is just not conducive. And we're asking individuals to dwell in a place where we want them to be rehabilitated. And you've been knighted, sir. And the responsibility and the weight is on your shoulders to exercise all your avenues and resources to create a platform and an opportunity for people to express their concerns, and for you to find those individuals who are the technicians to make the things happen.
You seem to be straying in areas that are personal. And I want to put you on the alert that the shenanigans you're accustomed to in dealing with other individuals will not work with Molwyn Joseph. You're dragging this issue down now to a level to which I will not sink. And so unless you're going to be constructive and ask questions that are relevant, that will advance the services at the Clarevue, and not appear to be coming with some personal comments, I think you might find it useful at this time to end this exchange.
You provided an invite for me to attend this press conference. And respectfully, you just asked a question, what would I like you to do? And respectfully, what I've shared there is not a personal comment, it's not a charade, it's not a dance. I do have some questions. Let's stick to those questions, please, sir. So one of the questions is, what do you know about what the situation exactly from the report? What can you tell us? Not with regards to the coroner, what can you tell us of that is good enough for the public to understand what happened in Lateefa's situation at Clarevue?
I think you have a deficit in the understanding of this whole issue. If you cannot understand that I cannot comment on the issue of Lateefa and what transpired there because it's in the hands of a coroner, and then I do not know that we can have a conversation. You need to understand the difference between the authority vested in a minister and the authority vested in a judicial authority in the form of a magistrate. I cannot comment on the experience of Lateefa in the hospital when that is a matter under investigation. Maybe if you're somebody less experienced would fall into this trap, but certainly not me.
Mr. Minister, I'll ask you another question. When was the last time you visited Clarevue? And how many times have you visited in the past year?
Several times. I've spent many hours at Clarevue, quite often at weekends when the workers are not there. I drive into Clarevue and look around. I will go to Clarevue and speak to the management there from time to time. And that is the way I've been doing for years.
When was the last time that, like, if you can give us a date or an exact understanding, when was the last time you actually went there? I know you're very busy, and I definitely understand your numerous responsibilities.
It would be enough that as minister, I'm saying to you that I visited there at my discretion.
I didn't hear that last part, sorry.
That question?
Give us a specific date as when was the last time you visited Clarevue?
I don't recall the specific date when I visit Clarevue, but I'm trying to find out as a journalist, why are you seeking to investigate the matter in which I execute my responsibility?
You've opened a platform here for us to have an open conversation, so I'm just asking, the public would like to know. My other question with regards to the reports of the bed bugs, the slab of concrete that is being used as a bathroom. I have quite a few mentions here, including this report regarding a male worker who was suspended for allegedly sexually harassing female patients. What's your response to it? Not the alarming one that you provided my previous colleague, Gemma, but have you gotten these reports, and what will be your response to it, sir?
I have not received any official report of that kind, and I cannot respond to it unless it is reported to me by the management of Clarevue.
Okay, so it's been reported in the media now, you're aware of it. What will you do, or what commitment can you give to the general public of what you will do as the Minister of Health to address some of these issues, short-term, medium, and long-term goals for Clarevue?
You see, you appear not to understand some principles of management. If someone comes with a report to me, the report has to be analyzed. It has to be verified for its factual nature. And here you are bringing something to my attention, and you're going to ask me, what am I going to do? If you have an idea of the process of solving problems, you first have to get the diagnostics right. And I am not going to be able to diagnose what you're saying by asking a question. What I have to do is to get into the institution, speak with the management to verify that what is being stated is correct, and then the appropriate response be designed to solve the problem. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work the way you are suggesting.
Fine, sir, and you're the expert, so I would definitely take your leading respectfully. So I'm not here to offer any disrespect or anything like that. You have your field, and I do have mine. I was making some notes here when you were speaking earlier. I just looked on it again. When you were speaking about Lateefa in your earlier comments, you said you used statements of natural death and sudden death, but an autopsy was not done. So is there a possibility, how is this the language to use when there's no autopsy to confirm that it was a natural death, or it is a sudden death, of course?
I'm going to take my time and explain this to you, and hopefully you'll get it. If you go and you get the law, the Coroner's Act, Cap 105, it speaks about unnatural death, and it includes what is unnatural death, and one of those is sudden death, which I believe qualifies for the coroner. It could be other matters, but sudden death is one of them. Now, the coroner has to investigate. That is what is being done now. Investigation. So how can you come to conclusions before you are able to satisfy the investigation or to gather all the information from the investigation? I'm a bit puzzled. Can we have a conversation to get some clarity on that? What is it you're looking for?
Mr. Minister, there are many questions, and I know that we would be spending a long time, but I remember our host mentioned that you were going to provide some other updates with regards to your ministry and the Ministry of Health itself, and I'd want to give you an opportunity to do so. But I'll definitely ask you to, in this particular situation, there's a sudden death at Clarevue. You said you visited the family and that you're very close with the family. I'm not sure if the mother actually recounted her experience of not being able to see her daughter at Clarevue, then showing up at Clarevue, a nurse having to convince another nurse or a matron, I'm not sure, to have her see her child. She approached the room with her child, basically frothing at the mouth and limp. You said that you're very personal and you know this family very well, and that you're hurting too, and you're grieving with them. What are you going to say, or what can you say that is going to be extremely convincing and show your actions for this situation and give the public confidence, like you said, and give us overall clarity that you're taking this situation seriously and you will get to the bottom of it?
I don't think the family has any problem that I'm taking this matter seriously. I doubt the public, having heard me today, would think that I'm not taking the problem seriously. I take this matter seriously. There's a death involved. And let me disclose now, that is a death in my family. So I don't know how much I can persuade you or any member of the public. This is a death in my family. This is not easy for me.
Let me just ask to hold your other questions on this matter in particular. I just want to, because we should have ended at 10:45 today, let me just give each of you an opportunity to ask any other questions related to the minister's portfolio, because we have already overrun our time. Let me go back to Gemma, if she's still there, to ask any other question, and then Nikki, I'll come back to you if that's okay. Gemma, you still there? Gemma, you still there?
I'm still here, yes.
Go ahead. All right. To ask another question, as we are looking to wrap up with the minister here, unrelated to this or related to this, but just one more question.
Oh, okay, yes. I did have one more question. There was something sent out yesterday about the fake COVID dashboard, but it did make me wonder whether COVID cases were still being counted and what the process was now.
Cool.
All right, she's asking about the fake dashboard, if there is still any counting still going on in terms of accounting for COVID figures in Antigua Barbuda.
Absolutely. We have our epidemiology unit, and they're working every day tracking diseases in Antigua, not only COVID-19. And should there be any escalation in the numbers of COVID, you can be assured that we'll make it known to the public immediately. As a matter of fact, you would have noticed that we continue to encourage the public to practice proper defense, which is to hand washing and all the things, coughing etiquette and all those things. We never stopped. And so, fortunately, we are not seeing any what you would call escalation in the numbers of COVID in Antigua and Barbuda. That has not been reported to me, and I believe, if I'm not hearing it from the epidemiology unit, that they are not experiencing any escalation in number of COVID cases. Unfortunately, there are people who have an interest in misrepresenting the realities of Antigua and Barbuda to cause alarm. And I want to say that those of you who fabricate information and put it out there, you might think you're doing the government some harm, but quite often you're doing the public harm. I remember some information that came out on some other viruses like dengue, and people were getting alarmed. And unfortunately, it was not something that was handled properly in the terms of the manner in which the information came out. So we are sensitive to this, but I would like to take the opportunity to encourage the people of Antigua and Barbuda not to manipulate the circumstances in society that result in psychological, sociological harm, especially emotional harm to the people of Antigua and Barbuda.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Minister. Thanks so much, Gemma. Nikki, let's come back to you in terms of your final question for the Minister, please, before we wrap the session this morning.
Yes, so it's a case counted. How many are there right now?
It has, no report has come to me in recent times of any escalation of COVID-19. No, I have not received any reports in recent times.
She's asking if you have a number. Do you have a number to the current count? No.
A number of correct count? There has not been any reports to me. I could, what I will do at the end of this press conference, I'll contact the EP unit and I'll put a press conference out, press release out, I'm sorry, to update the public as to exactly how many cases we have now.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Gemma. Nikki, over to you, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Minister, for taking this time, and I sincerely mean that. I'm not just saying that because I know your time is very important. Final question, this again is in the Ministry of Health, but there was a situation in 2021 where a 2-year-old boy died just one day before his 3rd birthday. The cabinet notes had promised an investigation into what happened. He died at Mount St. John's Medical Center, and there was still no update on that, and the mother is still grieving on that. So I just wanted to add that to yourself, Mr. Minister. And I'm also asking if we can, for yourself, just to wrap up and ask for, the public is basically asking for a slightly cleaner and more comfortable environment at Clarevue, because we really understand the importance of mental health. And I certainly want to thank you for taking the time to invite me to this press conference. And I saw that you watch our live video and you click live on it, so liked on it, you liked it. So thank you for that.
Well, and thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Minister. The Honourable Sir Molwyn Joseph there, representing the Ministry of Health, of course, the Ministry of Health, Wellness, Social Transformation and the Environment. This press conference this morning bring us up to date on the current investigations now in the hands of the coroner on the death of Lateefa George at the Clarevue Medical Center. My name is Russell Charles Jr. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We now return you to ABS's regular programming.